Howdy folks, welcome to week 6 of the developer log here. So we are working on the same thing, and yeah, so this week I did I did 12 hours. I only got 12 hours in, but I did get another 1,000 lines of code added and quite a few things. So I want to show you what we've got here. We've got some on the traffic here. We've got landing zones, and you can land on them. Obviously you can land on just the traffic too. I'll show you here in a second. We'll land on this, and if you look on the upper left, now it's yeah, it says parked right now. I don't think I had it. Yeah, there's a bug there. I don't think I had it take it out, but when we do this, it'll say docked. See, now it says docked. Yeah, I didn't have it reverse that when it comes off. So down here we can land on these, and if you watch my fuel and oxygen bars, you can see that those go up. And so yeah, you can pick up fuel and oxygen over here on these, and like this, by landing on these. And so we got a tiny little bit of oxygen, and it's random how much you get on each one. So it's just a randomly chosen amount. But yeah, and so if you can get through the traffic here, now I should probably point out, just like every week I have to point out that these graphics are just to get the mechanics working. They're not what the final game is going to look like at all. So yeah, it's a way easier to get the mechanics nailed down when you can see exactly every pixel of what's going on and stuff like that. So the other thing, the other big thing that I added in here is you're going to be able to, this is going to collide with the ground at some point, but you're going to be able to pick this thing up. Here we go. We'll go like this. And once you pick this thing up, and I've just got a simple G calculation going right now, just so I can see what's going on. But yeah, once you pick it, let's do no fuel. We're going to cheat, and we're going to go no fuel. That's what the console's for, right? And so yeah, once you pick this thing up, then you can fly around with it and land it somewhere. And so we can have cargo that's, that's laying around on the ground. You can pick up wrecked chunks of ship and salvage them or whatever. You're going to be able to carry these things around. But yeah, the big thing is I wanted to get this mechanic working, because it's actually a huge pain to get these physics things like this working. They're a huge pain to get them working. And so if you watch here, when you go down here, we get a lot more G's like that. And right now this thing weighs about 1/5 as much as the ship, so that's why it's not having too much of an effect on the ship. You can actually, they're gonna have different masses and stuff like that too, and obviously different shapes and graphics and all that, and different things that they can contain. But yeah, there's also going to be buildings down here. So yeah, you'll be able to go down to, this is gonna be the challenge, is to land one of these things on a building without breaking it and stuff. But you'll be able to come down to a building and and drop it off and that kind of thing. And so then you can collect your reward. But that's gonna be that part of the functionality. And like I said, it's a huge pain to try to get the physics working on this. It's funny because the actual real life physics equations are really simple. F equals ma. Come on, mass is conserved. Momentum is conserved. How difficult is that, right? It's like, but you can't just type F equals ma into a line of code. It doesn't. The computer doesn't know what to do with that. So, you have to take the actual vectors and dink around with them and all that stuff. So yeah, that took a lot of the time this week. I was getting that working, but I'm really happy to report that it's working the way I want it to. This is exactly the sort of gameplay I was looking for with this, that you're going to be able to do the Skycrane type of thing. So yeah, and one of the other things I'm going to add into here, this is going to be really fun for this screen, is a glider wing. Is basically, so you'll be able to turn sideways, and it's kind of like the space rudder, in space. You'll be able to turn sideways and, for the most part, coast, so you won't use a ton of fuel on the planets. You'll be able to use that for fuel conservation. And then you're going to have to switch back and forth, because you're not going to be able to land in that mode. So you're going to have to switch back and forth, and obviously it's not going to work when there's not an atmosphere, so there's that too. And the other thing that we're missing in here, I just wanted to let you guys know what else is going to be going into this screen. Is down here there will be buildings that you can land on with landing zones like this, and so you're gonna be able to land on these and trade. Obviously it's not going to be 5 billion of these things on the screen. This is just for testing purposes. These are, you know, they're going to be on some planets there won't be any, on some there will be quite a few, you know, that kind of thing. So there's going to be tons and tons and tons of planets. I may make, it's going to be a minimum of 1,000 planets, I think, you know, and they're going to be procedurally generated. And so yeah, you know, we can do, the sky's the limit on the planets as far as that goes. So the other thing I think I want to do on this screen is I'm probably going to add vertical scrolling too, because there's way too much stuff on the screen at one time. So I'm probably going to make it so that this screen is 2 screens tall instead of just 1 screen tall. So then we can have the traffic that's reasonably sized and the ship that's a little bit bigger and all that stuff. And then, you know, and the ground is going to be way more, you know, the mountains will probably come up to here instead of this tiny little thing. So yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of resizing and that kind of thing on this, because that, once the functionality is here, resizing the things doesn't really change that. But anyway, the other thing that I decided this week, I'm just going to fly around while I'm talking about this. The other thing that I decided this week is that the flying around shooting junk screen, because as I showed you guys last week, there's like, you know, probably at least a dozen different screens that you can go to, and this is going to be an open world type thing, where you're going to be able to go from one screen to this. You know, when you fly up over the top of this screen, off the top of the screen, you go into orbit, and you're on the orbit screen, and then from the orbit screen you can either come back down to the planet, or you can dock on the space station, or you can fly off, you know, one side to go to this screen, or another side to go to that screen, or you fly into a wormhole. So it's all open world. You're not just okay, you finish this screen and you get teleported to the next thing that the game sends you to. You know, it's not a linear type thing. So anyway, yeah, it's gonna be open world. And what I want to do is, because there is so much gameplay density, or whatever you want to call it, the shoot 'em up, the shooting all the rocks and junk screen is going to be a lot of gameplay in itself. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this screen right here to the side right now, and all the other screens. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete, like totally complete, the shoot 'em up screen. And I'm going to do that as either an early access for the whole game, or I'm just going to release that as its own standalone game. I call it arcade mode. So basically I'm going to set up everything that's ever going to be in there, at least for the first version or whatever. You know, I'm going to make it very, very complete. I'm going to get that all done as its own polished game and release that at least, like I said, at the very least it'll be early access for the rest of this. What I think will happen is this stuff will be version 2. This will be V2, you know. So we'll do space shooty space thing, you know, version 1, and that'll be arcade mode, and then this will be part of version 2. Like, if you didn't see last week's episode, definitely go watch last week's episode, where I show the giant map of everything, all the different screens that they're going to be. You can go down through this one and get to caverns, and you know, and all kinds of stuff like that. So, but anyway, that's gonna be it for this week's update. Just kind of a quick one, but I wanted to let you guys know where we're at, because like I said, I only got 12 hours. I don't know if I even mentioned that. I only got 12 hours in this week. It's been a very busy week with winter starting and all that stuff, and I'm up to a little over 13,000 lines of code. So I did manage to add another, almost exactly 1,000 lines from last week. So, you know, there's that. I did get a lot done. I got a lot of reading done on OpenGL and stuff like that too. But anyway, that's gonna be it for this week's update. Next week, so we'll see what else I can get added into the other screen, the shooty screen. And so join me for next week's, and we'll see you then. Later.